All right, with the last video, we finished that video up with the final fraction being simplified to 13 over 20, or 13/20ths. Let's now go to the triangle. All right, 50% is what the triangle is in the percent. So to convert 50% to a decimal, we all know, hopefully, that we move the decimal 2 places to the left, which will give you 0.50. So I can take that decimal now and convert it to my fraction. Another way to convert a fraction to a decimal is look at how many decimal places it has. That represents how many zeros you're going to have in the denominator with a 1 in front of it. So it has 2 decimal places, so it has 2 zeros with a 1, which means it's in the hundredths place. So the way we say that is 50 hundredths. And all of you know 50 over 100 simplifies to 1/2. So we get a probability of 1/2. So the percent, decimal, and fraction. Let's go to the next one, 1/5. 1/5, what we have to do there is we know that means division, so I have to divide we have to divide 1 by 5, the top number is what goes on the inside. 1/5 is one of those fractions you probably should know in your head right off the bat what exactly that decimal place is. 5 and 1 to 10 2 times, so 2 times 5 is 10. Get a 0, another 0, bring it down, and you can figure out it gives you 0.20. So as a decimal, it would be 0.20. And as a percent, just move it 2 places to the right, which gives you 20%. So this last one here, 1/5 is a decimal, it's 0.20, or 20 hundredths. And as a fraction, as a percent, move it 2 places to the right, and we get 20%. All right, so that kind of takes us now to where we need to try one like this. The probability of choosing a flag with only 2 colors is 15 hundredths. What is this probability written as a fraction and as a percent? All right, so first of all, we got 0.15. As a percent, we're just going to move it 2 places to the right. So that means as a percent, it's going to be 15%. As a fraction, we know it has 2 decimal places, so it's going to be 15 over 100, because 2 zeros means 2 decimal places. Another way of looking at it is we have, write it the way it sounds, 15 hundredths, and of course, 15 hundredths is 15 over 100, so we can divide each of those by 5, which gives us now 3/20ths. So we're taking our decimal, 0.15, 0.15, writing it as a fraction, 15 hundredths, simplifying it to 3/20ths, and then writing it as a percent as 15%. All right, so let's now kind of get started with everything. What I need you to do is copy this information. What is important here is how do I determine the probability of a simple event? You have several events. You have what is called, first of all, a simple event. A simple event means where there is only one possible outcome. So the outcome is any one of the possible results of an action. So the outcome is what you get. I flip a coin, my outcome is either going to be heads or tails. I select a card from a deck of cards. I could draw a red 2 of spades. A 2 of hearts. Okay, so that would be an outcome. When you have a simple event is when you have exactly one outcome. And you will need to know these words, this terminology. We've already talked about probability. Probability is the chance of an event happening or taking place. So we have an outcome, which is the result. You have a simple event. That is when you have exactly one outcome. I flip a coin. It lands on tails. That is a simple event, flipping the coin, because there's only one outcome. I roll a dice. It lands on the number 2. That is a simple event. There's one outcome. All right? Then we have the word random. Random is when an event occurs by chance. For example, we have a die numbered 1 through 6 because there's 6 sides to a die, 1 through 6. One number on each side, that die is tossed, okay? What is the probability of an even number? So we write probability with the letter P for probability, and then what we're trying to get in parentheses. So we would say the probability of an even number. On a die, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and you know the even numbers are 2, 4, and 6. So how many of those are even? We have 3 even numbers. How many total do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So our probability is written as a fraction is 3/6, which simplifies to 1/2. And we could convert that to a decimal by dividing, which gives you 0.5 or 0.50. And as a percent would give us 50%. Okay? So for this page, copy down what's in yellow, please. So we know we have a number dial 1 through 6, and that probability of an even number would be 1/2, 0.5, or 50%. Alright, let me go back. Let me go back a couple screens. Alright, what I want you to do is imagine that you have a bag of marbles. Okay? You have some red marbles, blue marbles, a black marble, and 3 green. When we find probability, what we're going to do is we're going to find out or try to figure out what we're trying to get. So in this case, the probability is green. So let's figure out. Let's see that there are 3 green marbles. So I have 3. And I'm going to write that over the total number of marbles. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 total marbles. So my probability is 3/10. As a decimal, 3/10 is 0.3. And that as a percent would be 30%. Okay? So I want to know the probability of selecting the black marble. Let me do that. The black. We have 1 black marble. We have a total of 10. So my probability is 1/10. As a decimal, that would be 0.1. And as a percent, that would be 10%, because I've moved that decimal 2 places, you add a 0.